talking today once again about how to keep our young adults and teens safe in an increasingly digital world. You're watching our campaign, Safe in Cyberia. Last week, we did speak on the role that parents and teachers could play in protecting our young and the vulnerable, and how they could recognize the signs of distress in a victim of cyber abuse or cyberbullying. Today, we will focus on the role that schools, colleges, and universities can play in raising this awareness, and just as importantly, really, in creating the right value system. There is a need to add digital safety education as a course in school and college curriculums to ensure compulsory guidance on safe internet practices. And part of the solution really is to train the trainers, that is, to support teachers and provide them with the skills needed to deliver a digital skills-related curriculum. And it is time to not only look at these solutions within the classroom, but also open these discussions to an entire campus. To discuss this, we are joined by Manjot Dhillon, founder and director, Mount Litera Z School at Amritsar, Trishneet Arora, founder and CEO of Tax Security Solutions, and Professor Vinita Jindal, a professor at the Department of Computer Science, Keshav Mahavidyalaya, Delhi University, also joined by Anjana, a second-year student at Amrita University. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you for your time. I would like to begin by going to Manjot Dhillon first and ask you really what are the initial steps being taken in schools on digital safety, and what have been the learnings so far that you have seen within your school and within young teens at the moment?
Thank you, Sakshi. I'm very happy to be a part of this extremely important conversation on this pressing issue. Schools have been trying their best to make cyber safety a part or an integral part of their curriculum. And we, for instance, have been always emphasizing the importance of cyber safety, whether it is in the classroom or it is at home. So how we've done this is, we have done this in form of workshops. We have direct conversation with children. And one of the most potent tools that we've been able to use till date is making student leaders in charge of this particular initiative. We've empowered our students to create awareness. We've empowered our students to take action. And that has had a domino effect, where it has built a culture within the school where there are open conversations about digital citizenship, where teachers and students engage in regular activities which can raise awareness, which can open up avenues for more conversation, and which are action-oriented. We've been inviting experts to school, and experts who have trained not only the teachers, but experts who have trained also the parents. Because how it works is, it is a partnership. The parent, the teacher, and the student have to come together to ensure that we all live in a safe cyberspace. So it is initiatives like this, and it is a structured approach. It is a structured approach where a curriculum which has been devised by cyber experts, in which there has been input given by counselors, psychologists, parents, students, teachers. So we've been implementing such a curriculum, and we definitely see results. Though it is rather difficult after COVID, because things have become more dangerous. Mm-hmm. Students have become more and more immersed in social media and internet, but there are definitely positive things.
All right. I'd like to ask Anjana now, really, as a student, do you feel discussions in the classroom really will be a starting point for you all to address digital safety with your friends and sort of have these conversations just as casually as you would about anything else?
Yes, it surely is. As in, the more aware we are, the more we spread knowledge regarding these matters. I think we will be more aware of it. We will stay away from such attacks, and we will keep ourselves safe from bullies and attackers on the cyberspace. So the more casual this conversation becomes, the more aware we will be.
Right. It is a unique partnership, really, like Manjot Dhillon was saying. So, Trishneet, I'd like to come to you then. How do you think that we can deliver digital awareness? You know, any steps, any methodology that you would advise, especially like Manjot Dhillon said, it has to be a partnership between educational institutions, parents at home, and of course the children. So really your methodology that you feel that they must adapt, and some simple tools really that you could share.
I'm very glad, first of all, to learn from co-panelists that there are some activities happening at the school level on cyberspace now. And I clearly remember when I started my career in cybersecurity 10 years back, I used to go to colleges and universities to do workshops on cybersecurity, right? IIT, also some of the universities in Punjab state as well. But I'm very happy that it's happening at a very good pace now. So I think the most important thing is to involve the future possible crimes also in the this workshops and in seminars. So this way, the people that who are learning right now, so they should be able to learn 10 years ahead, not what is going on right now, limiting not only to what is going on right now in the cyber crime space, but also they can aware people in the future, so learning the future threat as well. That's one thing that I think we should add. Second, this has to become more not only workshop or seminar limited activity. This should be more like a syllabus, or why not we should add cybersecurity as a subject in schools or colleges are already there, but in school itself, right, from standard 8 or something that we can start. Do you remember when computer was a new thing in 90s or 95s, or maybe early 2000, right? So when it was reaching at one level to the common people of the country, so school had 10 computer systems and they had a computer lab. So every class had a 1 week session to learn practically on computer. Why we can't have something like that about cyberspace, right? So that's most important, to utilize technology safely in the cyberspace. That's what we believe.
Right. Professor Vinita, I'd like to then ask you, how do you think we can train the trainers, in spreading this awareness in the easiest possible way? A lot of people, of course, saying that half the solution really is to train the trainers, to help teachers deliver this as easily as possible to young teens, young adults. Remember, they don't want interference, and yet one has to help them be safe in the increasingly digital world. So really, how do you think we can train the trainers?
First of all, we as a teacher or the trainer need to understand that whatever we are doing on the internet is a kind of digital footprint we are creating, and we need to understand the way how these footprints are being managed on the cyberspace. If we are fully aware of the things, then only we can impart the knowledge about the impact. They may be good or bad, whatever in the sense, to the children. Now, let me come to your question. When we are talking about how to train the trainer, we need to train the trainer that how the cyber crimes are being existing, what are the laws against the cyber bullying or cyber crime, whatever the thing is being done by the students, maybe knowingly or unknowingly. Many times it has been seen that students are doing some activity just for a fun, and they are not aware, they are just doing it just for the exposure. Because when we are targeting the young students or young adults, I can say, with the teenagers, normally if I'm talking about the school children, they are involved themselves in the online gaming. And there are certain games you have seen in the past, like Blue Whale or something like that, PUBG, where they have trapped the students with the good graphics and everything. Like they find themselves involved in the activities, and they can develop the suicidal tendencies. And even some people, some students have lost their life as well. If I'm coming to the young adults who are there in the college or universities, they are mostly indulge themselves in the social engineering, like social networking sites or something like that, and shopping. At that point, they are being trapped into some shopping scams, like Flipkart scams you have listened earlier. There can be some kind of online research collaboration scams and admission scams like this. So first, as a trainer, we have to understand what kind of activities are going on right now. And as my co-panelist was saying, that we have to think ahead of the time, that what can more happen. We have to prepare some case studies, and we have to learn from the past studies. Everything cannot be learned in advance in the cyber age. Everything, whatever has been happened earlier, has some counterpart. So universities are, yes, definitely going for the ethical hacking kind of thing. But yes, there should be some projects, there should be some ways to find out and to give the knowledge, to impart the regular coming attacks.
Sure. An important really point there, you were addressing, of course, gaming and rising violence, especially among young teens. Many increasingly feeling that even isolation and addiction to games could be the root cause for all of this. So, Manjot Dhillon, how do you think we can address this? Do you agree with Professor Vinita that maybe a case study example in curriculums could be the way forward?
Yes, definitely, Sakshi. I totally agree, because through case studies, it'll enhance our knowledge. It'll give us a clearer picture of the current prevalent scenario. And the teachers are technology savvy now, especially after the impetus given by COVID. But we have to admit it that they cannot keep pace with the students. They are always miles ahead. So it's important that the teachers are regularly given professional training. Professional development is done on the cyber safety front, where the teachers are equipped to handle such situations. Teachers are regularly given trainings on classroom management. There is interdisciplinary learning. So in the similar way, the cyber safety has to be incorporated in the professional development menu that the school has. And their planners, it has to become an integral part of that. Of course, the problem of students being too deeply immersed in their devices is something that has become deep-rooted, because a large part of the problem is at home, where they have open access to the devices. So as I talked previously, it is in partnership with the parents. Where we train our teachers, we need to strongly educate our parents also. How to say no, the importance of saying no to the students, to their children. And that is when we can wean them off the devices. There's so much to do outside. Children need to be taken to the playgrounds. Children need to be given more activities to engage in than just the allure of the video games.
Sure.
I think then together this has to be done.
Sure. We have addressed, of course, how parents and teachers can inculcate these values. And remember, we are talking about young teens and young adults. And like you said, maybe conversations really on value systems, because they don't want to be interfered with. They don't want to be told a blanket yes or no. But yes, there is monitoring required, and, to keep them digitally safe. So, Anjana, I'd like to come to you then, really. As a young teen, as someone who's, is listening to this discussion right now, really, what do you feel, should be in a curriculum at school, in colleges, really, that you feel is the starting point in India?
As a student, I know one thing for sure, that you cannot take technology away from the student. There are a lot of pros that the technology is providing students these days. I mean, earlier we used to be limited to a certain set of textbooks, or our knowledge used to be limited. But now, given the current situation, like the technology, we have a lot of exposure to a lot of new things. But as a con, like as every coin has two sides, there's even a lot of bad things that's coming along. That is the cyber attacks and bullying that's taking place. So actually, as a part of curriculum, we can see to it that we can make a space where we can, we can simulate the attacks, ask the student or the team to actually get involved in it, get to know what the side effects are and how these attacks actually take place. So on getting involved in it, he or she can actually get to see a way out of this problem. And as this environment, the simulated environment can be a gamified environment. Hence, they also have fun playing the game, and at the same time, they get educated as to what the problems are in the cyberspace.
All right. So, Trishneet, here we have a student, Anjana, giving us a possible solution. As an expert, how quickly can the solution be implemented, really, as part of the games and all of that you feel?
I encourage, all the teachers to let play students play their hands on computer games as well, because gaming is one of the biggest industry right now. So if you look at Microsoft, they are aiming big time on gaming industry, right? So you never know who will become, a gaming leader, professional also in the future, and rule the market from India, international market, gaming market from India, right? So you never stop students for anything, especially on technology. Let them use technology, but you should only teach them what is right for them and what is wrong in the life, right? So if we teach them according to that manners and those principles is have been taught, so I don't think so then technology they can use it adversely, right? So that's the only thing we have to teach people and students especially, and teachers also has to learn something on this. The parameters are not the same that it was 2 years back or 3 years back, especially before COVID. It has been changed widely, right? So we have to look at the new parameters and we have to train ourselves to keep up to the mark.
True, true. But I was reading how Denmark, Singapore, there are student programs really to look into methods of digital safety. So really, like Anjana was suggesting, a game perhaps could also include, we're not stopping young teens from playing games, but like you said, we have to keep them digitally safe. So a real world application of this knowledge, Trishneet, as an expert, do you think, we can inculcate it in our games, and how do you think we can spread it further?
Absolutely. I think education also has to be a gamification, not just limited to textbooks or visuals right now that we see that people are getting videos to learn about their subjects or about their syllabus, right? There has to become a gamification for education as well, right? So that will be amazing thing, and we are working already at Tax Security to build something around education with gamification. We are already working on that, but let's see how does it been taken by the industry people, especially the teachers, right? So let's see. We are working on that.
All right. So after the break, really a quick take from the teachers and the professors on their message really to state governments, to governments, and what they feel is a quick solution on digital safety for our young teens. Welcome back. We have, of course, been discussing digital safety for our young teens in our educational institutions. And I'd like to go back to you, Professor Vinita. Really, so far, what steps have been taken in universities, you feel, and what more is needed? Because, of course, we all realize the importance of it. And I was reading, of course, we have lots of courses on digital marketing in our universities. We have, very few courses really on digital safety. So, so far, what is really happening at your university, and by when do you think we will really see a clear implementation of courses like these?
Before COVID, it was not there in the universities to the extent as you are saying correctly. But after COVID time, there is a requirement of cybersecurity, and UGC has finalized some courses which are coming very soon in the next upcoming academic sessions on cybersecurity. They are awareing the kids, the students, young adults about the cybersecurity rules, laws, and everything. They have some case studies to make people aware about the different scams which are being available. And there are certain laws. If students are doing something wrong on cyberspace, knowingly or unknowingly, what punishments or what penalty they can be imparted. And as a trainer, our duty is to make aware the young students that they should use antiviruses, they should use ad blockers, they should use which protocols and which like HTTP should not be used much. They should not share their identities. There may be some awareness camps or posters to be imparted. We should, there is an initiative of Ministry of Home Affairs. They have initiated a cyber dose kind of thing. We must aware the students to join it, and whatever the incident, they can be part of cyberbullying or any other type of harassment in cyberspace that can be reported on that portal. You must be remembering that there are certain statistics available which shows that till 2021 there are more than 6 lakhs complaints that has been registered on that. And universities are definitely looking like some projects that has been started in some foreign governments, as you mentioned earlier. I was reading one Project Rocket, which was started in Australia by some young group of the students to save the students from bullying. So this type of initiatives has to be taken in the University of Delhi as well as in India also by the government or university practices. And you must be happy to know that there are certain safety books which are available on cybercrime.government.in website, both in English as well as Hindi. Students can read and get some knowledge about the cyber threats or some cyber crimes so that they can make themselves safe from these crimes till a limit.
Professor Vinita, as you've said that, this is of course something that is in the works. There is a timeline really on curriculums. But, Manjot Dhillon, I'd like to ask you, as Anjana was suggesting, a young teen here suggesting a possible solution, perhaps more practically within the gaming world or within the digital world, but that does inculcate, cyber safety, that does sort of encourage young teens to, watch visually those mediums. Do you feel that could be a possible solution in the times to come? And really, what is the feedback you've gotten so far from young teens?
It can definitely be used. A digital toolkit which uses animations, which uses all the videos and all the stuff that students are easily attracted to and they pay attention to. They can easily be used as tools to create more awareness about cyber safety and to encourage children and students to adopt safe cyber practices. It is definitely something that is already happening. We as a school have been doing it for a while now, and we've shared those digital toolkits with parents, toolkits which are age specific. So at different stages, parents and students have different needs. So different toolkits for teens, different toolkits for children who are in the kindergarten. They have been used and they have been very, very effective. They have been effective in the sense that parents have also started following the same path as the teachers. So action has led to a lot of positive results. So I see a lot of a lot of positive results, like you said, but we have a long way to go. Like we were reading about the global exchange programs, student-specific programs really on digital safety. So there is a long way to go, and of course to spread this awareness as much as possible. So we will give the last word really to our young teen, our young adult here, Anjana. Your really ideal digital toolkit would be what in universities and in schools? What do you think is the ideal? Because you're someone who's interacting with your friends, you're someone who is also sort of realizing the need of the hour really more than all of us. So your final take on what is really the ideal toolkit for digital safety?
As an ideal toolkit for digital safety, I would say would be something where, as I had previously mentioned, something that we are very interested in being a part of it, and yet it's educating us and leading us onto the right track rather than causing harm to us. And it's something that we really want to be a part of. So we don't exactly take it in as any other course. We watch the video, we read the lecture, and we forget it after a while. But here, when we get involved in the entire process, we remember this, we learn what we have got from these toolkits for our lifetime. We don't forget it anytime soon.
All right, so young adults, suggesting possible solutions right here. And of course, like she said, that, they will remember it. Of course, the need of the hour really is to, spread this knowledge as much as possible, to have this really in our school and college curriculums, and not to have it as a far-fetched dream, but have it as a reality as soon as possible. To also look at the global world and look at student exchange programs, look at how teachers can share expertise with each other and have, conversations really around digital safety to be able to train our young adults better and be digitally far more safer. Thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts and for sharing your perspective.